Hey guys, Patty here. Just a bit of a tutorial on the new resistance event. I know that a lot of people are pretty stressed about this. Am I gonna get my 10th skill or whatever? Just so you know, you are pretty much guaranteed your first 10th skill as long as you are able to do the mission objectives, which is, in this case, day 1, 2, and 3 is join a dynamic event. A few events alone, and even if you don't place really high, you'll still get your skill book. Now, the one that people are worrying about is actually the overall ranking, which will allow you to get your second skill book. So what's going to happen there is that if you reach the top 500 in overall ranking, you'll get a box that'll give you an extra skill. So that's what people are really competing about. If you are more on the casual side, let's say like you're a tank, you're a little worried, well, I can't really perform in events, that's actually completely okay. Because if you look at it here, see these right here? As long as you do these events, you'll get this experience bar, which will get you up a tier. And if you look under personal reward info, it'll show you all the rewards that you'll get per tier. And on the 11th tier that you see here, you'll get these 10 pages, right? So what these 10 pages do is basically craft you your 10th skill. So all you have to do is just do events. You don't have to place very high. You just have to, even if you have to do a peaceful event, even though it only gives half the points, right? The caveat of this whole resistance event thing is that there's 3 days to it. Once you get into day 1, it'll show you what your mission objective is. In our case at this time, it is join dynamic events for day 1, 2, and 3. And all we have to do is just join a dynamic event. One difference though is that if you look at acquired score info, you'll see scores on here. What they do not tell you, however, is that compared to conflict events actually give a double of what peaceful events give. So if you're trying to get into the top 500, let's say you're struggling a little bit, you're not in the top 500 yet, but you want to be. You want to do a conflict event because it is your biggest chance to get into the top 500 ranking. Unless you can find a completely dead mid to high level peaceful event and you can score a little bit higher on that one. Because if you look at the events, it goes higher depending on the event, right? And as you get into the higher events, it becomes more and more clear which ones actually give the most points. But again, if you're not ranking very high, let's say you're ranking 71 to 10,000, it's going to be very low anyway. So you might kind of consider, if Starlight is dead, you might want to go to Starlight, because if you can get like rank 1, the reason why this is lower, by the way, compared to the others is because Starlight has multiple submission points, multiple places that you can submit your resources that you farm, right? And that's why it's kind of split that way. And another important thing to note as well, if you're going for the overall ranking, you might think that like, hey, I'll just do all of the events. That isn't exactly how it works. It might work like that for your tier ups, but it's not going to work for your overall ranking, because if you hover over highest score reached, you'll actually see here that the only scores counted is going to be your 2 highest scores. Unfortunately, if you're a tank, if you're melee, I do have bad news for you. You can still get up to the top 500 100%, but it is going to be a little bit harder for you. But don't worry too much about it. It's not like this is a one-time thing anyway. Make sure that you just tier up your personal reward and get your first skill, and then get the rest of these omnipotence, because in order to level up your 10th skill or your resistance skill, you actually need the omnipotence books, or books specific to that skill. You can't use regular skill books for it. It's okay if you get one and you're missing out on your second one because you can't rank into the top 500. Honestly, I didn't even do any of day 1 and I barely did day 2 because of the rank 1 guild push. So that's completely fine. Just get your first skill and worry about it in the next event. All right? Hopefully this helps, and hopefully it helped ease the pressure of thinking that you were not supposed to get booked if you were not top 500. That is completely false.
I could be your buyer under these lucid dreams. I'm not thinking off my head, yeah. I'm just feeling lazy, just be honest, baby. We got different phases, give it all, take it all. I'm just feeling lazy, just be honest, baby. We got different phases, give it all, take it all.